We're going to start with the Steinhoff story that we know something about. I mean, all the banks got hit by this, but Bank of America, I think, was $300 million.
Yeah.
And it was a margin loan, and they thought they were protected by the Steinhoff stock. Didn't work out that well.
It did not. And what's so interesting about this story, and I want to make sure that I get the terminology right, it's a non-recourse single stock margin loan, which basically means it's just that stock.
It's exactly, if the stock goes down, it's
that's
not
your
worth it,
collateral.
you're out.
That's one thing. And if it goes sideways or not sideways, straight down, you really are in a pickle.
And we have Brian Moynihan, who's prided himself on being so cautious as he's grown the bank. And this doesn't look quite as cautious. Word is they're not very happy inside of Bank of America. And as well, they're saying, let's take a look at all those margin loans. We may want to sell some of those off.
Right. And they obviously, as you point out, were not alone on this, but they did have a pretty heavy exposure here.
Well, I was making the point to David earlier. I was like, the loss was, what, like $300 million? And to me, for a huge bank like Bank of America, that sounds like pennies. So I'm curious as to, not pennies, maybe quarters, but I'm curious as to why then all the drama behind it.
I think David makes the exact right point, which is sort of a cultural thing. You've seen this shift. You know, remember that in the post-crisis world, a bank CEO is highly sensitive to these sort of mistakes, I think. And when you see elements of this, there's a little bit of a canary in a coal mine.
And this bank in particular
here
went through so much and had to write off so much. And you have Brian Moynihan coming in, former lawyer, and he was the cautious one to say, we're going to really ramp this in and we're going to get this under control. We're going to be cautious from now on because I got burned before. I want to do it again.
At the same time, then you have Goldman Sachs and Harvey Schwartz. One of the commentary about him is that he didn't take on enough risk like Gary Cohn did, and potentially that was one of the reasons why he wasn't the loved one to become a potential successor.
Well, that's why these jobs are hard. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in this in the sense that you do have to balance the right amount of risk, especially in a market that is this unpredictable.
Quote of the day.